The Four Agreements, a practical guide to personal freedom by Don Miguel Ruiz. Introduction. Escaping the illusion of the dream. Don Miguel Ruiz opens the book by introducing a powerful and profound idea. Our entire lives are shaped by a collective dream that humanity has been creating for thousands of years. This dream includes the cultural rules we follow, the roles we're expected to play, the beliefs we inherit from our parents, the fears we internalize from society, the judgments we learn about ourselves. We are born into this dream, and from childhood, we're conditioned, domesticated. As Ruiz says, just like animals, through rewards and punishments, we learn what is good and bad, what is acceptable and unacceptable. Over time, we start to accept certain beliefs about ourselves. I must be perfect to be loved. My worth depends on what others think of me. Mistakes make me a failure. These beliefs become agreements, unconscious contracts with ourselves that shape how we perceive reality. Most of them limit us. Ruiz's message is clear. Real freedom begins when we question these old agreements and choose new ones. This is the foundation for understanding the Four Agreements, the dream of the planet and the human domestication process. Ruiz explains that the dream of the planet is the collective unconscious, a system of beliefs passed from generation to generation. It determines what we believe is possible, what we fear, what we value, and even how we define success. As children, we accept others' beliefs before we have the power to choose. We adopt the fears of our parents and the expectations of society. We learn to judge ourselves according to unrealistic ideals. This is domestication, and like domesticated animals, we act out of fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being wrong. We become our own worst critics. We punish ourselves with guilt. We reward ourselves only when we meet impossible standards. Ruiz says this entire system is an illusion, a dream we never chose, but we can wake up from it. The Four Agreements serve as the tools to break the old dream and create a new one rooted in freedom, love, and authenticity. Agreement number 1, be impeccable with your word. The first agreement is the most important because it directly transforms your self-image and your internal world. What impeccable really means. The word impeccable comes from Latin. Im equals without, peccatus equals sin. So being impeccable means living without sin against yourself. In this philosophy, a sin is anything you do that goes against yourself, your truth, or your well-being. Your word is your most powerful tool for creation. With your word, you build self-worth or destroy it. With your word, you create your identity. With your word, you influence others. How we use our word against ourselves. Most people unknowingly use their word as a weapon. I'm not good enough. I always screw things up. Nobody cares about me. These are spells, negative affirmations that shape your reality. Ruiz calls this black magic because negative speech poisons the mind, spreads fear, and creates suffering. Gossip, a social virus. One of the biggest ways we misuse the word is through gossip. Gossip spreads emotional poison, often based on assumptions, jealousy, or insecurity. Ruiz compares it to a computer virus. It spreads quickly and damages the system. Being impeccable means speaking honestly, speaking kindly, speaking with integrity, avoiding gossip, not speaking against yourself, using your word to uplift yourself and others. When you become impeccable with your word, everything changes. You break old patterns of self-criticism and begin building a new life rooted in truth and love. Agreement number 2, don't take anything personally. This agreement creates emotional freedom. Ruiz explains that nothing anyone says or does is actually because of you. People act based on their own dream, their beliefs, fears, wounds, and expectations. Why we take things personally. We take things personally because we fear rejection. We crave approval. We depend on others for our self-worth. We believe others see us as we see ourselves. The key insight: when someone criticizes you, insults you, or judges you, they are revealing their own emotional wounds and beliefs, not your truth. Example: if someone calls you worthless, they are projecting the voice of their own inner judge. It's not about you. The trap of personal importance. Ruiz says taking things personally is a form of egocentrism, believing that everything is about us. When you stop taking things personally, you no longer lose energy arguing. You stop feeling hurt by others' opinions. You become immune to criticism. You also become immune to praise. Praise is also a projection. When you depend on praise, you hand over your self-worth to others. Freedom comes from knowing who you are, independent of others' voices. Agreement number 3. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions are one of the biggest sources of misunderstanding, conflict, resentment, and drama. Humans have a tendency to fill in the gaps when we don't know something, create stories based on fear, project our expectations onto others, expect people to read our minds. Why we make assumptions? We make assumptions because we're afraid to ask questions. We fear the truth. We think asking will make us look weak. We want to avoid vulnerability. We believe others should know what we need. The danger of assumptions. Assumptions quickly become truth in our minds, even when they're completely false. This leads to jealousy, anger, sadness, broken relationships, emotional chaos. Most conflicts stem not from reality, but from the stories we invent. The solution: clear communication. Ruiz says the cure is simple. Ask questions. Clarify. Speak up. Don't guess. Example: instead of assuming someone is mad at you, ask, "Is everything okay? I want to make sure we're on the same page." Instead of assuming your partner knows your needs, say, "I feel loved when, can we talk about it?" When you stop making assumptions, you avoid misunderstandings and build deeper, healthier connections. Agreement number 4, always do your best. The fourth agreement is what allows the first 3 to become habits. This agreement is not about perfection. It's about consistent effort and compassionate self-awareness. Your best is always changing. Your best today might not be the same as yesterday. When you're healthy, your best is high. When you're sick or exhausted, your best is lower. When you're motivated, your output increases. The key is to do your best within the reality of each moment, not according to an impossible standard. Why this agreement matters. When you do your best, you avoid self-judgment. You avoid guilt. You avoid regret. You build discipline. You grow consistently. Doing your best turns the other agreements into daily practice, not just ideas. Avoiding burnout. Ruiz also warns against doing more than your best. This leads to stress, exhaustion, frustration, emotional burnout. Always do your best is a balance of effort and compassion. It is the agreement that makes transformation sustainable. Living beyond old agreements, the path to personal freedom. Ruiz explains that every person has internal characters. The judge, the inner critic that punishes you. The victim, the part that feels powerless. The beliefs, old agreements that define your limits. Through awareness and practice, these old patterns begin to lose power. You start to recognize self-limiting beliefs. Silence the inner judge. Stop feeding the victim mindset. Break the cycle of fear-based thinking. Create new agreements rooted in love and truth. This is the essence of Toltec wisdom, a path to becoming a spiritual warrior, someone who fights for their own freedom, not by force, but through awareness and love. The Smoky Mirror, Remembering Who You Really Are. Ruiz ends the book with a beautiful metaphor. Human beings are like mirrors covered in smoke. The smoke consists of fear, limiting beliefs, emotional pain, judgment, shame, social conditioning. Behind the smoke, your true nature is pure light, pure consciousness. The purpose of the Four Agreements is to clear the smoke so you can see yourself as you truly are: free, powerful, loving, capable, worthy. This is the ultimate promise of the Toltec path, the return to authenticity and inner freedom. Why the Four Agreements is a life-changing book. People around the world continue to read and recommend this book because it's practical. The agreements are easy to understand and apply in daily life. It's universal. It transcends religion, culture, and background. It's transformational. Small changes in thinking lead to massive shifts in emotional well-being. It heals emotional wounds. The book helps readers break self-judgment, people-pleasing, fear of rejection, negative self-talk. It brings inner peace. When you practice the agreements, life becomes simpler, clearer, and more peaceful. Final takeaway. The Four Agreements teaches this powerful message. You have the power to break old patterns and create a life of freedom. 1. By practicing the agreements. 2. Be impeccable with your word. 3. Don't take anything personally. 4. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. You reclaim your power from fear, judgment, and limitation, and step into a new dream, a new reality, built from truth and love. This book is simple, timeless, and absolutely transformative. And if you enjoy deep, meaningful summaries that help you grow, transform your mindset, and become the best version of yourself, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I upload powerful book summaries just like this one every week.